My name is Cindy. I met several different people today and asked them all the same question. Do you have the closest friends? And how did you find them? Their answers surprised me. Most people think that friendship doesn't exist in today's world, that having friends on social media is enough, and that it is impossible in real life. But I want to argue with this. You can meet a good person anywhere and just need to open your heart. I did that once and made two friends at once. And now I will tell you how it happened. 5 years ago, I was a student at an art college. There were guys and girls from different countries studying with me. There were different relationships between us. I remember the first time I saw a guy named Michael. He was a commuter and somewhat older than us in age. The whole university talked about Michael being the son of some millionaire. You could see it in him. Michael would come to school in his gold-toned sport car. The girls would seek friendship and companionship with him, and he always kept them at a distance. I was personally afraid of Michael because I heard that his father in his country kills people on demand and nothing will happen to him for it. I believe Michael was the same guy. I could say by the look in his eyes that he didn't like and dislike many of us. So, as soon as Michael appeared in the foreseeable distance, I tried to get away as fast as I could. But between me, Sarah, and Lizzie, a real friendship had formed. At least that is what I thought at the time. The three of us had a lot of fun together, joking around, making up nicknames for the others, and keeping strangers out of our circle. We also had a girl named Millie. She was weird. It seemed to me that Millie lived in her own world, where all events happened very slowly. When we said something to Millie, she did not answer us at once, but repeated our words for a long time. Only then she reacted to them. Because of this habit, I nicknamed her Millie the Break. Everyone liked the nickname, and after a couple weeks, everyone else forgot her real name and started calling her just Break. At that moment, I didn't think about what it would be like for Millie to be the object of ridicule and in the student community, but for some reason she kept smiling at me and avoiding direct contact. It made me even more eager to tease her. Millie used to walk in a special way, looking around, shifting her feet carefully, as if she were afraid of ruining something with her movements, and we loved to run and jump around the corridors of the university. Watch the terror in Millie's eyes when I suggested she walk faster too. It was the only time she didn't smile at me, but just walk away from the answer. Sarah and I were taken aback by this for some reason. The next day, while standing in line at the university cafeteria at lunch, Sarah pitched me an idea. Cindy, why don't we cheer everybody up? You go to the table and wait for Millie to walk by. Put your phone under her feet. It will be fun, she whispered. I like her idea. I took my lunch and sat down at the table waiting for Millie. At that moment, I was called over by Brian, who was sitting at the neighboring table. He also decided to give me back the book he'd borrowed 2 weeks ago. I put my foot out on the aisle and reached for the book with my hand. I knew for a fact that Millie was coming with her tray. But the next instant, something unexpected happened. I felt something heavy come over me, and we all fell to the floor together. Alone with my chair, when there was a rumble and the sound of breaking dishes, I was anticipating the general merriment. As I was trying to comprehend what was happening and writhing in pain in my back, I heard an airy male scream. "Cindy Brown! What kind of nasty act is this? I could have gotten a heart attack or broken my femoral neck at my age." Outrage our old Professor Lloyd, who found himself face down on my chest. "Damn, this is some crazy stuff, Professor. This isn't a university here. It's a zoo for monkeys. You need to take action against those students, and I'm going to go complain right now," said that menacing and serious guy Michael, who somehow ended up with his face in Professor Lloyd's groin. Then I saw Millie, who was standing off the side, smiling as always. I felt like she was gloating over me. I experienced anger. My friends Sarah and Lizzie were at a loss. They came over to me and helped me stand up. "Why did you put your foot in the professor's face?" Sarah asked. "I was actually doing it for Millie. But how did she manage to skip?" I said indignantly. Then I found out that the professor, with a tray in his hands, had gotten ahead of Millie at the last second, and Michael was walking toward him. The result was a three-way collision that was my fault. Michael was the one who got hurt the most. He always wore all white clothes. That day was no exception. But when he got up, all his white clothes were covered in cocoa, coffee, and sauces. He looked at me with an evil look. I ran away from the dining hall to avoid seeing that look. That some day, the professor called me into his office and reprimanded me for a long time for my ugly behavior. I apologized, and when I left his office, I walked down the hall. I saw Michael following me. His clothes were still dirty, and they were wet. He had probably tried to wash them in the restroom, and then his clothes stuck to his body, making him look a little ridiculous. I only had to cast one glance at him to feel the urge to lunge at him, and fear at the same time. He was walking straight in my direction, but I quickened my steps and quickly left the university building. In the evening, my mood soared even more. I finished all my important chores, prepared for tomorrow's classes, then decided to capture today's events in my journal. I used to do this on a regular basis, but today I didn't find my bright and colorful journal in my bag. The worst part was that all my secrets were written there. When I thought about it, I immediately pictured the faces or in front of my eyes, looking at me and smiling blissfully. Now, I began to wait for all the university students to look at me with the same smile after reading. Oh, dearie. Really, I had no idea where I might have lost it. I immediately dialed Sarah's phone number and told my bad. "Think I might secretly want to take revenge on your point. Remember how you created or ruined the mood? Maybe there is such a person in your family," she said. "The only person I made fun of is Millie," I confess. "So we need to nail her in the corner to give you a diary, and next tell everyone anything later. We will start the chase tomorrow," Sarah told me. But the next day, Millie didn't show up for class. That only made me more suspicious. What if she gave my diary to someone else? I wondered. Had the three of us sat with Sarah and Lizzie, and the one of whom she passed it can pass it to the third, the one to the fourth, and so in a month the whole university will know all your secrets. By the way, what did you write there? Lizzie asked. I wrote everything. How the three of us ended up in the same bed after Brian's party, how he got tired quickly and wanted to run away from us, but we kept him there until morning. Tie him to the table, made him take a horny pill, and then took turns riding him all night, I confess. So, it's not our problem. It's Brian's. He shall thank us for giving him that pill. Or we could have just told everyone the next day about what he was with the girls. Sarah grinned. I also wrote about the three of us going to sex shops, picking out different things, using them once, then sending them to someone as a gift. I confess. Cindy, you're crazy. If that's all true, Millie could auction your theory, and any student at our university will be willing to pay a lot of money for it. Sarah said, scaring me even more. And Michael will buy it in the end. He has a lot of money, Lisa added, and I was in a bad mood. A couple days later, of the girls from our group invited us to party at her house. The three of us went there. I was surprised to see Millie there. She was standing on the sidelines as usual, smiling at everyone and looking at everyone with a blissful look. I didn't want to waste my time. I called Millie to the back of the house and decided to talk to her. Lizzie was standing in the corner of the house, peeking out to make sure no one came near us. Millie, I know you gained power over me, but I think we can always work things out with you, I said. What? What a power? I don't understand you, she replied and kept smiling. Millie, you don't have to play dumb. I can guess everything from your smile. You know everything, but it's unethical to laugh like that. Everyone has their secrets, I said. Yes, you're right, Cindy. Everyone has their secrets. I do too. I will tell you if you want me to, she said, still smiling. I was intrigued. I believe she's confessed her racy exploits and gave me my theory, but it was like Millie was mocking me. My friend Tracy sees you, and you don't see him. He likes you a lot, she said out of the blue. Millie, I thought you were just pretending. So you are really crazy. Tracy, who? Where does he see me? I was indignant. Everywhere. He goes to school with me. He goes to the cafeteria. He's even here now. It's just that I'm the only one who sees him. No one else, she said. I realized that Millie was really sick in the head. I shouted to Sarah and let her know it was useless to talk to that witch. We had a backup plan. Sarah came over to me, and she and I quickly dragged Millie over to the pool and held her on both sides. No sooner had I told her what I thought of her than I saw a completely unexpected sight. Michael was walking briskly toward me. I was sure he was going to say something mean about his dirty clothes and treating me. I didn't want to ruin that evening. Let go of that fool. Let's go, I whispered to Sarah, and then she and I let Millie go. I quickened my steps, went into the house, and lost myself among the guests so that Michael couldn't approach me. But he was stubborn. All evening he walked around me, trying to approach me and picking me. I was getting more and more scared of myself. I was sure that Michael was sneaking up on me to punish me for that ridiculous incident and for my stained snow-white suit. And I was really afraid of him because by then I'd learned new details about his family. They'd stoned his own daughter and gotten away with it. I could be next. A couple more weeks passed, my journal still missing. Millie still smiled and pretended to understand absolutely nothing of my claim. Knowing of those days, my friend Lizzie decided to have a lavish birthday party. She chose a countryside nature park as a location. On the appointed day, we all drove to the park on the outskirts of the city. While the barbecue was being prepared, we decided to play hide and seek. Everyone split into groups and started looking for places to hide. Me and my friends Lizzie and Sarah decided to hide behind an accident tree 2 meters wide. What was our surprise when we found Millie behind the tree? She was smiling as usual and gestured for us not to give her away. I rejoiced, as this was a very suitable place to find out. Just behind the tree, a few feet away, was the edge of a high cliff. I took Millie sharply by the hair and said, "Either you confess everything, or I will throw you down this cliff and tell the rest of us that you fell by your own carelessness." "No, don't do that. You don't have to do that. It's bad," Millie mumbled. I was about to scare her further, but then, flashing his snow-white tracksuit, Michael appeared in our nook. He wasn't alone, but brought 2 friends of his own. When I saw him, I knew he was here to push me off that cliff. I immediately led Millie and ran to the other side of the park. After that, until I left, I tried not to make eye contact with him, and when I left, Millie looked at me and for the first time in her life didn't smile. That calmed me down a little. I thought she was beginning to think it was time to give me back my journal. A couple days later, the unexpected happened. I was walking down the hallway and hurrying to my friends. Suddenly, someone called my name. It was a man's voice. I turned around and saw Michael walking toward me at the other end of the hall. I realized that this was it. He had decided to deal with me for good, but I wasn't going to give up. I turned the corner, opened the door to the first classroom I could find, went in, and locked the door. Then I stared through the peephole so I could jump out when Michael left. But I was distracted by a woman's voice from the auditorium. "Cindy? Hi, what's wrong? Can I help you?" I looked up and saw Millie sitting at the desk in the middle of the empty classroom, writing something. "What are you doing here?" I shrieked at her with anger. Millie shrugged her shoulders and continued to dig further into her notebooks. She was writing something on the board, or maybe she was drawing something. Either way, it all seems very strange to me. Everyone rushing home and her lingering after class. To calm my heartbeat, I decided to sit down on the floor and wait for Michael to leave, but no such luck. "Hey, Cindy, I know you're in here. Open up, we need to talk," came from down the hall, and it was Michael's voice. "Damn it! How did he see me? Millie, help me!" I whispered. Millie quickly got up from her seat and walked over to me. "I'm being stalked by this weird guy, Michael. He and I have a difficult relationship. He noticed I was here," I whispered to her, and then there was another knock on the door. Michael wasn't going to leave. He tugged on the doorknob intermittently and kept calling for me. My blood was boiling with anger, and I had a headache. Millie silently held my hand. "Help me get rid of him, and I will leave you alone," I begged her. "What happened? Did you have a fight?" she asked me. "No, but I know he wants to fight with me. I gave him a hard time. Well, you remember you saw it. It's been after me ever since. It's been over a month. See how vindictive he is? They all are," I said. "Why don't you just talk to him about it?" Millie asked. I got angry again. "Millie, it's already clear. What can I talk to him about? Are you going to help me or not? He's not leaving. He's standing outside the door." I was indignant. "I can solve anything instead of you." If you want to end this problem, you need to go out and talk to him yourself. Otherwise, your fear will continue to grow. And if you talk, once you're afraid, there is nothing to be afraid of, Millie told me. I silently headed for the exit, not because I wanted to follow her advice, because I really wanted to go to the ladies' room. I couldn't take it anymore. And outside, I ran into Michael. "Oh, hey, I'm having trouble catching up with you. I need to give you a message," he said, then opened his backpack and handed my journal. I got excited, thanked him for a few times, and then got scared. "Did you read everything in it?" I asked. "Yes, pretty much everything," he said, smiled, said goodbye, and laughed. I was wildly ashamed and hurt. I sat down on the floor. Millie came to me and sat next to me silently. "Why are you always smiling at everyone? Do you even know how to get angry like normal people?" I asked, unable to withstand my emotions. "Oh, the thing is, I'm special," she confessed. "There is a special condition called autism. We're like invisible people. It's hard for me to keep up with a flow normal life. I can't move that fast, so I live at my own space. I smile because I feel what people really want," she said. "I don't know what you mean. I'm being honest. I look at you and realize that you need a close, sincere relationship, but you won't even admit it yourself. You have fun with Lizzie and Sarah, but you realize you can open up to them, and you want someone you can trust with your deepest secrets. I can feel it. And with my smile, I'm letting you know that I'm ready to be that friend," she said. That day, I learned about Millie's peculiarities for the first time, and after that, I had a completely different attitude towards her. In the evening of the same day, Michael called me, and we talked on the phone for a long time. "I love your poem about your mom," he said. "What poem?" I asked in surprise. "On page 10 of your diary. I understand you grew up without a mother. I'm like that too. My mother was beaten by a poisonous snake when she went to the woods with my grandmother. My grandma left her there, but my mom was in a hurry to get home to me, but got lost on the way and was bitten by the snake. My grandma just wanted to punish her, but the next day she heard on the news that my mom was taken to the hospital in a serious condition. It was already too late. She didn't survive. Since then, I've been writing poems about her too. If you want, I can translate them to you," he offered. It was only after Michael's words that I opened my ear from the beginning and came across entries from years ago when I really missed my mom. There were no sexual adventures in my life at that time. Then Michael and I met and he read me his poetry. It turned out to be a very soft and shy guy. "Did you read everything in my journal?" I asked fearfully. "No, just the 2 pages that open when you drop your diary from your bag in the cafeteria. And I didn't read any more. It's not ethical," he said. I felt ashamed once again. After that incident, I became attentive to Millie and realized what an amazing person she was. I introduced her to Michael, and they have become my best friends, who I can trust with absolutely everything. They have never once reminded me of my arrogant behavior in the past.